So, I thought I'd share a video. Sorry about that. This is basically going to be. I've tried to keep this as short as possible. It's a video about some of my cell phones that I used to have back in the early mid 90s. I'm not going to go through all of my cell phones, just a few of them. I'm going to do some talking about some memories about some of the phones. So let's go ahead and take a closer look on some of my cell phones that I had back in the days. So this is actually not all of my cell phones, but this is a great amount of the cell phones that I have. This is what I believe to be the oldest ones that I have. So let's go ahead and start with this one. This is actually the phone that started my collection of cell phones. This is a Motorola Dynatac. You can see it right there. There is no SIM cards in these old phones. The phone number is actually programmed into the phone itself. I bought this one perhaps maybe back in 1993, maybe it was, yeah. This is actually my first mobile cell phone that you can carry in your hand. Back in the days, this was very tiny, and I mean now it's a huge phone. I mean it's a big cell phone. I don't know. I'm not really sure how much I paid for this phone, but I think it was close to $2,000 or so. This one had just came out in Europe, where I lived at the time. You couldn't send any text messages with this one. It was just receiving calls and make phone calls. The battery standby time wasn't the best. I think maybe about 2 hours of talking time and maybe 8 to 10 hours of standby time. So and this one is obviously I got this one, you can see right there, it's made in UK, so that tells a little bit. So, and actually I was carrying around this in my back pocket of my jeans, and most of the people did that back in the days, so that's kind of cool. So I had this maybe for a year or so, perhaps maybe 1994 or so. I thought I would like to have something smaller, so that's when I bought this one. This is also a Motorola. It's a Flare. There is also no SIM card in this one, so they took the number out of this phone right here and put it in this one. And this one was a lot smaller, and people was carrying around these ones in their back pocket as well. This phone I only had for a few months before I thought, oh wow, I could buy another one, so I bought one more, and so I had one in each back pocket of my jeans. This is still very big cell phones today, and eventually I thought I would like to have one in my car, so I bought even another one. So I had 3 phones going with 3 different types of contracts in them. So this blue one was in my car, and these 2 ones I carry around. I don't know why I did that, but I was a businessman back then, so my phones were ringing all the time. Anyway, I don't know the price of those, but they was a little bit cheaper. Maybe I think maybe $900 each or so. Anyway, later on, I thought I'd go ahead and try a cell phone with a SIM card in it. So now we're talking a huge SIM card, right? As big as this one. You just swap it in there, the whole card. This is not a SIM card, by the way, but so I bought this one. That's a Motorola International 7200, and this was a very expensive phone. So this is actually my first SIM card cell phone. It was even possible to send text messages on this one. So I think perhaps maybe I bought this one back in 1995 or so. If I don't remember wrong, I think maybe I think it was like maybe $2,000 or so for this one. And what's good about this is that it was the same battery as these ones, so I still used these ones, so I could swap the batteries between them. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, this is what I was very happy about this phone, because you can send text messages, and there was some more things you can do with this one that you couldn't really do with this one. So this was a very good phone. I was very happy with it, and also was the same charging port right there, so I could also charge it in my phone with the same cables and connectors as I did with these phones. So this is a great piece of history right here. This is where you took out the SIM card. You just put this one down here, and the SIM card just came out a little bit, so you can take it out of there. The battery standby time was maybe, I think, 8 to 10 hours, and talking time maybe pretty much the same as the other ones, maybe 2 hours or so. Anyway, later on, when I discovered that this model was available also back in 1995 as a SIM card phone, that's when I bought this one. This is exactly the same phone, right? But this is for a SIM card and this is not. And this is a Motorola International 3200. So I bought this one as well. I didn't use it for very long, but I thought it would be cool to have one. So you can see the small SIM card tray there. And this was a huge milestone for Motorola, because this was the only cell phones back in the days that have a very small SIM card. So that was cool. And the antenna was a little bit larger as well. So during the time I was discovering other cell phones, and also back in 1995 or so I bought the Ericsson. Was very great phones back then. This is the NH237, and I bought actually several of these models. There we got one more. I actually think I have one more. Yeah, there it is. So I bought these 3 phones here. This one is the first one I bought. This was very, very expensive. Also, I think like $2,000 or so, with a big battery on there. and also I bought this one to have in my car with this type of antenna. I thought this would be greater to have in the pocket because there wasn't really a antenna sticking out of it. So this was my carry around phone. This was my phone to have in my car. So, and this is also no SIM card phone. This is phone numbers programmed in the phone itself. So later on I bought this phone. Actually I got this one from a friend of mine. You can see it's pretty nice front here, and this ring right here is actually real gold. You can see the stamps over there. It's 18 karat gold there. So yeah, that's cool. This was a very nice phone. Anyway, later on I thought I go ahead with something better. So I bought these two. This is made in Finland. Benephone, very great phones. Yeah, this is also no SIM card phones, but these were great phones. So I had these for maybe a year or so before I discovered that Motorola had came out with a new phone. This is a Motorola Startac, and this was very common in America at the time. I bought a bigger battery for it, as you can see. Also this one have a big SIM card right here that goes all over here. And this phone was very easy to carry around, very small, you know, and it was easy to open and easy to dial, easy to close and everything. So I was very happy with this one. This was very expensive as well. I think maybe 2,000 bucks or so when it came out. The price dropped pretty good the following year. So this is a SIM card phone right there. When I had this one for a little while, I thought it could be cool to have, let's see here, I had that one for a while, and then I bought another one. I bought actually this one right here, Motorola. This is the D160 maybe. I'm not really sure about the model number there, but I think it's a D160. No, it is not. It's a, I don't know. Well, anyway. And actually this phone you could have regular AA batteries in there, so that was kind of cool. This is a SIM card cell phone. This wasn't very expensive. I think it was like 500 bucks or so. I had this one for a little while until I bought, where is it? Oh, there it is. Until I bought another one, pretty much similar but smaller. So I had this one in my car, and then I carry around this one because it's a lot smaller. So that's what I did, and this one was very cheap as well. I think 450 bucks or so. I can't really remember, but and there was the same type of connector for the external antenna right there, so that was awesome. This one was in my car, and this was what I was carrying around. So let's not talk about every cell phone, but a few years later I bought, where the hell is it? A few years later I bought Sony, there it is, Ericsson. Yeah, now we're talking maybe 1999 or so, 1998 maybe. This phone was a huge milestone for me because I never had such a small cell phone before. This is a big battery on there right now, but the original battery was in the same level as the phone itself. So, and this was a very, very, very good phone. I remember I was very happy with this one. Small, you know, a tiny phone, easy to carry around, actually in your front pocket of your jeans. I bought even a small antenna. The original was maybe that high. The SIM card is fitted right under the battery, right there. So that's also a small SIM card right there. I can actually see here that the phone is manufactured in year 2000, so maybe I was wrong there. This is the 2000 I bought this one. I was very happy with it, and more people starting to buy these ones when they came out back in 1999. I had this one right here. I broke this one, so I bought another cell phone to take some parts from it, and that one was blue. So I swapped this one, so that's why this one is blue, because this one was available in gray and blue and another color that I can't remember, so that's why this one is blue. This is Ericsson T100, by the way. It was even possible to send text messages in there, so this was a great phone. The following year, this is actually, this one I bought back in 1998. So this one was before this one actually. This is Ericsson T10, yeah. This also a very good cell phone right there. This it wasn't very good. Oh, no, this is not a T10. This is the GF768. The T10 came the year after this one. So yeah, this phone was actually the reason why I bought this one, because it's pretty much similar, and this one was a lot better. You could open it with a button, so, and the display was a lot smaller on this one as well. So yeah. Anyway, oh yeah, there is another one. That's another one right there. Well, no. Now I want to go ahead to about the year 2000. I actually don't have that phone, I think. Yeah, there it is. There it is. This is a Ericsson. Oh God, I can't remember. Ericsson Ericsson. What the hell? This is Ericsson T something or something like that. I need to get the battery off of this one so I can see what model it is. Oh yeah, T100. Yeah, Ericsson T100. SIM card tray there. Actually a very small phone. This phone wasn't really super good, but very small, easy to carry around in your front pocket. No antenna, which I liked very much. Easy to use. Pretty good, decent amount of battery time in there. I think talking time maybe 5 to 6 hours. Standby time maybe a day or two or something like that. This one was very cheap, I think $200 or so. So yeah, this, by the way, maybe 2002, 2003 maybe. So now let's go ahead to maybe 2006 or so, when I bought this one right here. This is actually 2007, and this one looks pretty beaten up, because it is. I was very aggressive back in the days, so I thrown this one in the asphalt, really, so it broke pretty bad. You can see right there, it's damaged. it's totally cracked. The back housing, well, it doesn't really work anymore. I destroyed this one after I only had it for like a week or so. So this was very good phone. It had a game in it that I liked very much. It's called The Sims, I think. Yeah. After this one, I actually bought a cell phone with it's a Sony Ericsson. This is the Z710. Yeah, yeah, the 710i. I bought a Sony Ericsson K750i. I have that in my car right now, so I can't really show it. Anyway, after this one, I bought this one right here. Pretty much the same thing, but a lot cheaper. Cracked. I also thrown this one in the asphalt, so it's kind of beaten up. You can see it right there. The display is cracked, and you know, it's kind of, well, I think 200 bucks or so. So anyway, later on, back in 2007, I actually bought my first smartphone. This is my very first smartphone. This is a Sony Ericsson P1i. And this was a very good phone. Not very big. It was like a computer phone. Not really touchscreen, but you use a stylus to, you know, navigate through the display. So I used this phone, and I found the keypad, the keys, very awkward to me, because you have two letters on the same. So it took some time to learn to type a message without looking on the keypad right there. But I managed to learn pretty fast. This was very expensive. I think perhaps maybe about maybe 1,500–1,600 bucks or so. Very good phone. You could also use the internet on this one, and it was a great phone. It still is a great phone. So anyway, I think that's pretty much all I thought I'd go ahead and talk about in this video. This is a HTC, a very good phone, also a smartphone. It's kind of old now. It's maybe 7 or 8 years or something like that. It's kind of a decent phone, easy to type on the keypad right there. Also very expensive. I think maybe, well, I don't know, but 1,500–1,600 bucks or so. So yeah, there you go. That's this video is already too long now. This is some of my cell phones, as I said, and this is the phones that is most important for me. My very first cell phones. This is the R600 Ericsson back in the 90s, maybe 98 or so. This was a very decent phone as well. So yeah, and I still have most of the chargers for these phones. I'm actually thinking about trying to use some of them. I don't know, but maybe. So yeah, I used a lot of Ericsson back in the days. Oh, there it is. This is a beaten up, it's a T730, I think. Or is it? No, maybe it's not. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it is. No, 630. Yeah, great phone. So yeah, well, that's a piece of history of my cell phone collection that I had back in the days. I'm sorry for making the video so long. I think it was about 20 minutes or so. I'm sorry about that, but anyway, I have some ideas of making a full review of all my cell phones, but I don't really have the time to do it right now, so I thought I'll go ahead and show some of them and talk a little bit about them. So I like my cell phones, and actually I am collecting cell phones, so that's great. So there you go, and see you next time. Bye.